Hello, dear followers of this YouTube channel, students, teachers, and lovers of literature at large. I wish to warmly welcome you once again to this YouTube channel. And before proceeding, I kindly remind you to subscribe to this YouTube channel in case you have not done so for more literature lessons. Well, today we are so lucky to have the analysis of the most renowned play, the globally renowned play entitled The Lion and the Jewel. This most famous play and a comic play was written by a Nigerian most famous playwright and the poet, Professor WOLE SOYINKA. This play was set in a traditional Yoruba village of Nigeria called Ilujinre village. This play was published in 1963 by Oxford University Press, OUP. Dear listeners, before proceeding, it is better we come into knowing the meaning of some individual words that are found in this play title. The first most important individual word is the word the lion. What is the lion? The lion is a large, powerful animal of the cat family that hunts in groups and lives in parts of Africa and Southern Asia. The lion is believed to be the king of the jungle. Traditionally, the lion symbolizes courage, nobility, royalty, strength, stateliness, and valor, because historically the lion has been regarded as the king of beasts. On the other hand, dear listeners, the jewel is another important word that it is better we become familiar with it. What is a jewel? A jewel is an ornament adorned by women on their necks to complement their beauty. And symbolically in this play, the jewel is the most beautiful young woman called Sadie, who seems to be most beautiful young woman in Ilujinre village and beyond that village. On the other side, the lion has been used to symbolize Baroka, who is the chief or the king of Ilujinre village, who wishes to marry Sadie. And the two mentioned characters here believe in traditionalism, although they have some elements of modernity, and we're going to find them as we continue ahead. Well, dear listeners, may I take you to the general summary of this play. The play, The Lion and the Jewel, generally talks about the clashes happening between the modernists and the traditionalists. Lakunre, who is the school teacher, presents the class of modernists who want to bring changes adopted from Western culture, while the villagers such as Sidi and the chief himself stand for the class of traditionalists who preserve their own culture. The title of this play is fundamentally symbolic, whereby the lion stands for men and the jewel stands for women. From the play, Chief Baroka is labeled as the lion, whereas Sidi is labeled as the jewel. Baroka is labeled as the lion because he uses women for enjoyment, and he decides to marry any girl or women he wants in spite of having several wives. That is to say, Baroka is a womanizer and a polygamist. From this play, Chief Baroka tries to deceive Sidi, who is to be married to the primary school teacher, Lakunre. Baroka finally succeeds to marry Sidi. This is because he deceives her that he is sexually impotent, to mean that his manhood does not work. So this concludes that Baroka is the most cunning individual and very tricky. When Sidi goes to Baroka's house, Baroka takes her into his room, and the wrestling match between Sidi and Baroka takes place somewhere there. Baroka achieves to make love with Sidi, and he automatically marries her because he has become the first man to make love with her. This is according to traditional customs, that the first man to make love with a woman must become the woman's husband. In general explanation, the play is about a so very naturally beautiful girl called Sidi. Sidi is so cute to the extent that she is called the jewel of the original village. A jewel is a person or thing that is very important or valuable. In the play, Baroka, who is labeled the lion, is a womanizer, oppressive and deceitful. For instance, he sends his head wife, who is Sadiku, to Sidi. Baroka furthermore deceives his wives that he is sexually impotent, so that Sadiku can go to Sidi to reveal this secret, which is not true. This brings to us position of women, as it is actually believed that women cannot keep secret. Baroka's wives and Sidi believe that Chief Baroka is important, but later on they find themselves to have been deceived because Chief Baroka succeeds to bed with Sidi, and ultimately Sidi praises Baroka a lot that he is very powerful sexually despite his age. At first, Sidi was not interested to marry Baroka because Lakunre had started educating her about modernity. That is to say, Lakunre is a feminist in this story. WOLE SOYINKA tells us that Sidi is willing to marry Lakunre, but she insists that her bride price should be paid first, something that Lakunre was not willing to do so. In the end of this story, Lakunre feels alienated. He feels isolated, and of course, totally betrayed by Sidi. Chief Baroka seems to be stronger than Lakunre. That is why the chief achieves to marry Sidi. Therefore, the story is all about the conflict between traditionalism against modernity, whereby in the particular society, traditionalism seems to be stronger than modernity. Summary according to sections. Dear listeners, the play is divided into 3 sections. The first section is that of morning, the second section is that of noon, and the last section is that of evening, as explained below. Morning. This section of play is set at the edge of the market, situated at the village center. Sidi, who is a beautiful and virgin girl, is seen with a pearl on her head. We also see Lakunre, a teacher at the Bush School. Lakunre attempts to convince Sidi so that she may agree with what he says. Lakunre talks to Sidi something which he learns in town, which is strange to her. As a response, Sidi says that she will marry Lakunre if a bride price is paid in advance. Unfortunately, Lakunre does not believe in paying bride price. She likens paying bride price as an act of buying and selling women as other livestock or as other animals somewhere at the market. He looks at it as an act of buying women. So, Lakunre is not ready to pay bride price. Instead, he wants to preach for change so that people can stop paying bride price. Moreover, in this section, we are told about the stranger who has come with a map to Irugine village and girl dancing style. That is the dance of the lost traveler. When asked by girls, Lakunre rejects, claiming that dancing is for idiots. This shows that there is a conflict between traditionalism and modernity. Furthermore, Baroka in this section is introduced. Baroka wants to seize Lakunre because he wants to steal the village maidenhead, the village virgin girl who is Sidi. As a contradiction, the chief says that the wise people like Lakunre must be there so that they criticize when things go astray. For that reason, Baroka is ready to be criticized. Therefore, as a summary, this first section has clearly shown the conflicts between modernity and traditionalism. The second section, noon. The section is set at a road by the market. Here we see Lakunre carrying a bundle of firewood, which Sidi wanted to collect. So, Lakunre helps Sidi to carry the firewood. The two meet an old woman with a shawl on her head. She is Sadiku, the chief Baroka's eldest wife, who tells Sidi that she has been sent by the lion, meaning Baroka the chief, by saying that she will be the elder wife of the next chief. Sidi takes this idea as bad because she thinks Baroka will simply use her as an instrument of enjoyment. Here get a theme of awareness. Sidi seems to be aware of what might happen in the future. She openly declares that she has learnt a lot from Lakunre, so she is now gender conscious. Sidi's negation surprises Sadiku, because it is uncommon for any girl to reject the chief's proposal. Sidi gives the reason for her refusal, that they have different ages. Remember, Chief Baroka is 62 years old, while Sidi seems to be a teenager. So that is an age difference. There is a widening gap between the two. Also, Sadiku asks her to sup with Bayer, with the chief, and Sidi rejects again and says that she cannot eat supper with married men. In addition, Sidi argues that all girls who sup with the chief become his wives or concubines. She concludes that Baroka is a womanizer. In the same section, we see Baroka who uses women as instruments of enjoyment. As we can see, his favorite wife cuts his armpit hair. That is idolatry. He says that he enjoys being cut by a woman. And that is another indicator that women are portrayed as tools for refreshment by men. When he is given the report of Sidi's refusal, Baroka gets angry. Hence, he traps Sidi by telling his wife that he is no longer sexually powerful. He is impotent. His manhood does not work anymore. The last section of this play is Night. This takes place at the village center. This time we see Sidi at school room window looking at her pictures. Then we see Sadiku coming with a carved figure of Baroka. The figure is naked. This amuses and amazes Sidi. Sidi understands what Sadiku means when she tells her about Baroka's importance. So, Sadiku views Sidi as a winner as she refuses to marry Baroka. The two women congratulate each other that now they have a say in the sight of men. So, feminism is at work. Sadiku advises Sidi to go and eat the supper at Baroka's place, or the king's palace, because they believe that he will do nothing since he is impotent. Hearing that, Lakunre advises Sidi to go not to the palace, but Sidi rejects Lakunre's advice. She goes to the palace to see Baroka in order to mock him, as she believes that Baroka is impotent, as she has been told. Later on, we see Sadiku advising Lakunre to engage himself in farming so that he may get the bride price for marrying Sidi. Lakunre further says that no man will be marrying more than one wife. So that is to say, Lakunre is totally against polygamous people like Baroka. Then we see Sidi at palace trying to see if it is true that Baroka is impotent. It is then discovered that Baroka is not impotent as he previously claimed to be. This is evidenced by him sleeping with Sidi. So it is discovered that Baroka was tricked by telling his wife that he is impotent. Unexpectedly, Sidi is prepared to marry Baroka the chief. She praises Baroka a lot as she says he is very powerful sexually despite being aged 60. Hence, Sidi says goodbye to Lakunre, who has been persistently asking her a hand for marriage. Dear listeners, as far as this play is concerned, let us head on with discussion on the title of this book. Once again, dear listeners, The Lion and the Jewelry is a symbolic title of a comedy drama that presents the conflict that exists between Africans who are influenced by Western ways and those who are loyal to African traditions. The lion represents Baroka, with the chief Ober in his 60s, who hunts the village berry, the beautiful girl named Sidi. Therefore, the word the lion is used because of Baroka's behavior of hunting the jewel by using every possible means, even oppressing his competitor who is Lakunre, the bush school teacher, as a lion does in the forest as the king of the jungle. The jewel on the other side represents the beautiful and true village belle who is Sidi. Sidi becomes a jewel of genre, especially when the photographer puts a picture on the front page of the magazine and makes her known throughout the village and beyond. Siri's words in page 23 can prove this. She says, "I am the twinkle of a jewel, but he is the hindquarters of a lion." Literally, a jewel is an ornament adorned by women on their necks to complement their beauty. Symbolically in this play, Siri is a very beautiful young woman who is admired by the chief of this society. The chief inevitably puts forward some arrangements of satisfying his